Also envision my path so I complete the mission. Yeah, I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, I'll say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. Yes.
It is your boy, Mac Mans. Thank you for tuning into The Last Sip. Getting applause there. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hey, if you follow me on YouTube at Motivational Muscle, MUZCLE7674. I want to thank you for following me at Facebook. It's Ontario Hill, blue checkmark verified. Right now, I'll be honest, you guys, my internet connection in my house is down. So I'm doing the best I can with this podcast tonight. I still want to bring you something to keep you motivated and keep you up and going. I want to say thank y'all. Before I get started, you know how I do, I always take a sip of the drink. Today I got my Insane Delicious. Let's give an applause for that. And also, I always bring something to you unique. Today, I'm bringing to you Barbell. Barbell is one of the best nutrition bars you're going to ever have. It's packed full of protein, while also tasting good without getting that nasty protein chalky taste. This is the white chocolate almond. They have cookies and cream, salt and peanut. Also have crispy rice. Man, this is off the chain. If you ever get a chance, you take one of these after a workout, or just have one if you want to take it instead of a meal. It's worth it. Trust me. You get a chance, try Barbell. They are off the chain, y'all. Well, today I want to come to you with a couple of subjects. I'm not going to be before you long. I have engagement. As I told you before, I was going back to try to do something with professional wrestling, which I am about to do. I'm stepping into the ring, hopefully today. I want to do more managing than actually wrestling. But on today, I'm going to give y'all a couple of stories. I got to say this. Lately, my stories have been more based upon families and children, because we're in a time and era to where kids are important. They go through things, and as parents, I think we do the best we can to protect them. But then there are all these parents, there are parents out here who could care less about what's happening to their children. With that being said, the stories I went ahead and picked up today are based upon just parents going through things. I got one story that the parent could have made a better decision, but they did what they had to do. And the second story is, you know, it's going to be a tearjerker. It's going to jerk your heart, man. It's going to be a tearjerker. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I got something to play for you. This is going to be, I'm giving props to Rob Swave. He's a guy that does news reports for a network. So instead of me telling you about this story, I want you to hear this yourself. And then I will go ahead and get into the narrative of what's going on.
Of the difficulties so many have suffered for the last 2 years. Melissa Henderson is a single mother of 5 who lives in Blairsville, Georgia. In May of 2020, the pandemic forced the daycare center she relied upon to close. But like so many working people, she still had to go to work. So she relied on her oldest daughter, Lindley, age 14, to babysit the other kids. Lindley was concentrating on her own schoolwork, virtually of course, when the youngest kid, 4-year-old Thaddeus, noticed his friend, a neighboring kid, playing outside. So Thaddeus, wearing only a shirt, unfortunately, clambered outside to play. 10 or 15 minutes later, Lindley realized he was missing, guessed where he was, went to the neighbor's house to retrieve him. Unfortunately, the neighbor's mom had called the police. Now Henderson is facing criminal reckless conduct charges for letting her 14-year-old babysit. The charges carry a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison and a fine of $1,000. That's according to reporting from my colleague at Reason Magazine, Lenore Skenazy. Lenore is the founder of the Free-Range Kids movement, which seeks to restore sanity to debates about proper parenting. Lenore believes stressed-out parents are over-policed, too often punished by the government when they allowed their kids to have some level of basic autonomy. A generation or two ago, it wouldn't have been uncommon at all for parents to let their kids, even their young kids, play outside by themselves or be taken care of by other older siblings. Now it's considered neglect and often a crime, even though the outside world has not gotten any more dangerous for kids. It's gotten less dangerous. Henderson's case is a perfect example. The arresting officer, Deputy Sheriff Mark Pelote, wrote in his report that anything terrible could have happened to Thaddeus, including being kidnapped, run over, or, quote, bitten by a venomous snake. It was in the report. When Henderson protested that the kid was only gone a few minutes, Pelote responded that a few minutes is all the time a venomous snake needs. Here's a photo of the busy street and jungle-like conditions Thaddeus faced. Now that's his buddy's home on the right, photographed by Henderson from her porch. As you can see, their neighborhood is hardly the Australian outback. Nevertheless, the case has dragged on for the last 2 years as Henderson's attorney tries to get the case thrown out on the grounds that she made a perfectly understandable and defensible parenting decision. And in fact, Georgia's own Child Protective Services guidance says 13 is an acceptable age for babysitting. Part of the reason the authorities are coming down hard on her is that she was being previously investigated. When Thaddeus broke loose one other time in the past, the Department of Children and Families let her off with a warning, but this time the responding officers thought the government just had to take action. And action they took. 5 cop cars eventually came to her house. They handcuffed Henderson, they took her to the county jail, and they booked her. I almost don't have words for how low it made me feel, she told my colleague Lenore. To truly feel in the bottom of my heart that, if I'm anything, it's a good mother and everything you do is for your kids. To be stripped of that to the point where you are handcuffed in front of them. Henderson also noted that her daughter, the babysitter, has a GPA of 4.4, is vice president of the 4-H club, broke school records in varsity track, completed the Red Cross child care program, and is certified in CPR. There's a GoFundMe for the family if anyone is interested in contributing. This is just one family story, but we know that so many have struggled during the pandemic because of the completely unreasonable demands placed on working parents. Some of these stresses were unavoidable. Others were the result of government policies that could have been different. But at the very least, the authorities should not add to families' miseries by arresting and prosecuting them for relying on a 14-year-old babysitter in a pinch. Come on.
Okay, now, I'm going to get into the story a little bit deeper. The mother is a single woman. This is in Georgia. And in Georgia, you only have to be 13 years old to babysit. This mother had a choice to make. Either stay home with their children and lose her job, or go to work and feed them, have the ability to feed them. Now, what makes this case so difficult to put into words is because the fact that we live in a society now to where nothing is given to you. You have to work. And when you work these jobs, especially if you're in the corporate world, there are no days off. You've got to go ahead and make this money to take care of your family. And it puts single parents, if not everyday parents, in a crunch. What are you supposed to do? This happened in 2020, y'all, during the pandemic. So the jobs were open, but the daycares were shut down. Now, you have a young child in your home that is 14 years old, a teenager, a young adult, good GPA, amazing athlete, very responsible. Now, the downfall was that the kid got out because the young lady was studying, getting her work done. The crazy thing is the kid went next door to his friend's house. Now, this neighbor to me was kind of vindictive, and I'm going to tell you why I say that. With the neighbor being my neighbor, our kids are friends, you know this. Instead of coming and talking to the young lady at home or calling the parent, you automatically call the police. Police pull up, and as you heard the story, not only did they pull up, but the sergeant trumped up the report. Now, in all fairness to the sergeant, he was correct. It only takes a couple of seconds sometimes to your kid, a kidnapping, the kid getting hit by a car. The snake thing was a little bit over the top, but I do get where he's coming from. But for the fact that was in a safe neighborhood, you know the child came to your home, and here's the sick thing. The kid was only gone for 10 minutes. Now, I'm not one to pass judgment, but for the fact the mother was already in trouble for the child leaving the home before being outside unsupervised, that's a big thing. That's a very big thing. And I do understand where they're coming from with that. But you have to have some type of compassion about yourself. You know the child belongs next door. You know the child's friends with your child. You've seen this child many times before. You can just go knock on the door. And then the whole amount of embarrassment that she took for 5 cop cars to pull up at your house and put you in cuffs in front of your children. Now, from me doing further research, she was facing up to a year of jail time and also $1,000 fine. I don't know what happened because I never actually went into studying more on the case, but I just happened to get where I got with it because I wanted to prove a point here. When we were young, and if you're my age, when we were young, we were babysitting at the age of 13, maybe even 12. So think about it. Our parents should have been put to jail too if that was the case. There's been many times I was left at home with my brothers and sisters when I was 12 years old. Matter of fact, you can literally go to some of these agencies and get babysitters that are 14 years old and pay them to babysit your kids. So to me, this sounded like a personal vendetta against this parent. Single parent, working in corporate society. She has to have money to take care of children, so she has to go to work. And that brought me to a couple of points. Number one, if you can pay a babysitter in most states at the age of 13, what was wrong with her 14-year-old daughter watching her brother and sister? Really, what was wrong with that? A lot of kids do it for free right now. They watch their brothers and sisters at home every day while their parents run groceries. I've had it to when my parents went to work in the morning on a weekend, and I literally watched my brothers and sisters till they got home. 9, 10-hour shift. I know how to cook meals, all that. We were perfectly fine. But for the fact now it seems to be an issue because she went ahead and did it, and it's because the young son got out unsupervised. It's what caused the big cahoot and what caused the big upsetness is what it was. But for the fact that it was a neighbor who knew the family, that should have squished a lot of the, things that was going on. Number 2, it's her kids. It's her children. It's not like she would have found some random person to babysit her child or some stranger. It's the kids. They live there. They look after each other all day long anyway. When the parent sleeps, parent runs to the grocery store, parents doing something else, they look after each other. We didn't. We were kids. We were perfectly fine. And in our neighborhoods back then, you didn't worry about nobody doing nothing because the neighbor next door knew your family. It was no big issue. But for some reason now, it's an issue that this lady had to go to work to take care of her kids. Number 3, that brings me to this point. Job security is so crazy right now. All these jobs say they're family first, but a lot of them are not. They claim to be family first, but they don't support you in your time of need. Now, this woman had kids. Single mom, 4 kids. COVID, the epidemic was going on. No daycares, no schools are open. Kids are doing stuff at home for school. Do you mean to tell me there was no division in the office or no division or department where she worked that she could have worked from home? You literally made her come to work. And also knowing that, I think she deserves a little bit of leniency. She was doing what was necessary to take care of kids. I was a single parent. I don't know how many of you guys out there been single parents. It's not easy to raise kids on the income you make now as it is. And staying at home, you don't make any money. Unless you have some type of social media thing going on that's prosperous, or you have a sole proprietor business or some little side hustle or side money you're doing. Otherwise, you have to make a living. You have to feed kids. She's a single mother of 4 kids. It's not easy to feed 4 kids without any income. We live in a time to where I said it over and over again, there is no more compassion. There's no more understanding. There's no more love for human beings. What she did to me was not a bad parenting moment. It was just a messed up kind of judgment. Number one, if you knew you were going to be going to work and your daughter was home, there should have been some type of plan put in motion to where she took time out to take the young man outside. That way he didn't run outside with the other kid. 2, why was the door locked? Unless the kid can open it up, why was there not precautions taken so that this kid not run outside? Young lady, I know you had to get your schoolwork done, but there could have been a window in the time where you did that. There was all this stuff that happened came to this one moment. Could you imagine coming home from work and having police pull up at your house and arrest you, take you to jail until you're looking at a year in prison? Because you were being a responsible adult and take care of your children? And then the fact you're a single mother doing this deserves kudos. You deserve applause to begin with. So this whole situation scenario to me is wild. And the reason I went ahead and I got the story from The Hit. If you get on YouTube, look up The Hit, all kinds of stories like this. The reason I put this story out there is because this is something that we've dealt with for ages. We were young. There's people with me. I even had my kids when they were younger watched each other at 14, 15 years old. It's something that we do in society all the time. And no one seems to understand that it's something that's necessary. Everybody can't pay a babysitter. You can't. How many stories have I got on here and told you about people doing stuff to people's kids? Think about it. Where you want to you find out, and you know what you want to do to the person that hurt your kids? Yeah, you want to smack them up. So to save all that drama, she decided to let her daughter with the 4.4. Now that is a GPA that's an A+++. She's over the top of she's over the top echelon of education as far as studies go. 4.4 GPA. An all-star athlete, a letter athlete at school. This young lady has never really been in trouble. She's always done a good job watching her siblings. They had one moment where it got out of hand. So I'll let you decide. Was it a bad parenting moment or a bad parenting choice? This next story, you guys, you're not even going to get a chance to say a bad parenting moment or a bad parenting choice. Because this person here, what they did is just downright despicable. And it will make you say, were you thinking? I'm going to go into this story and I'm going to say something to y'all. I don't know what it is about this state, but y'all got to get it together. Ohio mom, there we go again. Ohio. What is it with Ohio? No disrespect to y'all, but we got to get this together. Come on now. What is it with Ohio? Ohio mom, Crystal Catalora, left her 16-month, not year, 16-month child at home to spend time in Michigan with her boyfriend. She was gone for 3 days. She left a 16-month-old baby at home for 3 days while she went to Michigan with her boyfriend. She came back, the baby was perfectly fine. Well, at least she thought the baby was fine. With that being said, she thinks everything's fine. She takes the baby, put the baby in the crib, changed the baby's diaper. Now remember, you've been gone for 3 days. She puts the baby in the playpen and gives the baby a bunch of bottles around it. From that point, she gets on a plane and goes to Puerto Rico with her boyfriend. She's gone for 10 days. 10 days. 16-month-old child. While she's in Puerto Rico, she's taking pictures, posting, all kind of stuff. Come to find out she was on meds, mental meds, because she, had mental problems. She comes back from her trip, goes into the house, and sees the baby is unresponsive in the playpen. From that point, she calls 911, calls the medic. If you hear this phone call, y'all, she was horrific, terrified. They're asking what happened. She said her baby is not responsive. Get there quick. They get there. She proceeds to tell him a story about how the baby had been sick, not reacting right for the last couple of days. They asked her, did you notice anything different during the night? She said, yes. She said overnight the baby didn't want to take the bottle. She was getting sick, was gasping. Something wasn't right with her all night long. Why you lying? You were gone for 10 days to Puerto Rico. You were not even there. Here's the kicker. When they came to get the baby to take it away, the baby had been changed. It was in clean clothes, like she had never left. Clean clothes, diaper changed, everything. They went ahead and did the autopsy. The baby died from malnutrition and dehydration. Malnutrition and dehydration. So they start putting two and two together. They start digging up. She messed up and they had a trail to find it. What she didn't know was the neighbor next door across the street had a ding-dong cam. Yeah. The camera recorded everything. Everything. From the time when she left and went to Michigan for 3 days to the time she went to Puerto Rico for 10 days. Then they find the Spirit Airline plane tickets, the dates that she had on her itinerary, and the time she was gone. She gets to court, y'all. Her lawyer tries to help her plead insanity. The judge says no way. The testimony from the prosecutor and the medical examiner was so damning. The lady couldn't hold it. The medical examiner couldn't even hold her tears back. She said the baby was dressed up in new clothes. She could tell, she said it was the most horrendous thing she had ever seen. Most horrific thing. Most terrifying thing. The baby was malnourished, dehydrated. Y'all, the judge laid down the gavel. On every single count. She got popped. She got life. She will die in the prison. There is no chance. Period. She cannot get on probation. None of that. She can't go before the board. No. For parole. She's in there for life. She tried to plead insanity. Because I'm going to tell you right now, to do something like this, you got to be crazy. But they got her. She's not going nowhere. She is going to die in prison for what she did to that baby. I've always spoken to you guys up front about how I feel. I've been upfront all the time, never hid anything to y'all about how I feel about children and raising kids. When you have children, you love them, you hold on to them, you treat them with respect and love. Children are precious. And for sick people like this to keep having kids is a whole nother crime. You're going to die in prison, ma'am, but you'll never feel the pain that baby felt. You left for a total of 13 days. You left for 3, then came back and left for 10. What was really on your mind? And for the fella, did you not ask if she had children? Did you not do your homework? I told you date people, do your homework, y'all. Do your homework. Because these people out here have you saying, do your homework. Study people. Do a background check. Do an application. It just burns my heart to see people like this continuously get away with everything. She got away the first time with 3 days and tried to go off for 10. But if it wasn't, I'm so glad the neighbor had that camera. I'm so glad the neighbor had the camera. Because that shut some things down. Camera footage didn't lie. It wasn't edited. It wasn't AI. It wasn't Etch-a-Sketch, craft draws, none of that. It was real live video footage. And she got caught. I don't have nothing negative to say about her situation because she already is going to feel that pain for a long, long time. If y'all know, like a lot of people know about prison, the 2 things they don't play about is people that do stuff to kids and people that do stuff to old people. So she gonna pay for this, y'all. She gonna pay for this. Okay, y'all, to bring y'all an update on a story that I did. I think I did it last week. I think it was a couple of days ago, if that, a couple of podcasts ago, about Bianca Ellis, the lady from Cleveland, Ohio. Here we go again with Ohio, y'all. That had stabbed that had unalived the young boy, 3-year-old, to death, and also hurt the mother. Bianca went to court. And this is why I named this subject what I did and thought about court behavior. Now, when you have lawyers and you go before a judge, now, if you know what a lawyer's job is to defend you, your lawyer. Now, he has 3 jobs. 1, either to get you off the charges period. 2, to get you probation. Or 3, to get you a plea deal and get you less time as possible. So what you're supposed to do as the person that is up for trial, you're supposed to go in there and show some type of remorse, be apprehensive to what you say to the judge. Remember that the prosecutor's main job is to put you underneath the jail. So you got to kind of have a certain demeanor on you to where you're respectful, you're cognate, and you're chilled out. Not Bianca. When Bianca first got arraigned, if you saw the footage, she looked dead to the camera and did one of these. And smirked. Now, automatically, I said to myself, there's something wrong with her mentally. She don't look like she all there. Thought maybe she was crazy or something. That's just me. But as they start doing the pre-trial and stuff start going on, she continued to laugh and smirk and giggle like this was funny. Ma'am, they're going to bury you underneath the jail 20 times deeper than they would anybody else. You have unalived a 3-year-old boy and almost killed his mother in the process. I don't see where you can get off laughing. This is not funny. Now your lawyers are in a situation they cannot win this case. They cannot get you off. They cannot win. They cannot get you probation. So the only thing they can do right now is to try to cop some type of deal to where you don't die in prison by execution, but you spend the rest of your life in prison, where you eventually will die anyway. Where is your mental capacity at? Seriously, people, think about this. If you know you're in a world worth of trouble for what you've done, which is a heinous crime, I mean terrifying crime, you know you're not going anywhere. When you try to at least have some type of compassion, well, I guess in this case, she knows she's not going anywhere but prison for a long, long, long time, if not ever getting out. So I figured she might as well go all the way. And I, to myself, I looked at her and saw things about her. I think she does have some remorse because either she was on something or something's not wired right in her head. At one point in time, I swore when I was watching the pretrial that I saw her kind of get down in the face when she realized what was going on. And this is what kills it even more. You know, you have to make statements, the judge, the prosecution, the lawyers, before you even get the case going. So the judge goes, I don't know anybody in this case. I'm not biased in any way, shape, or form. If you have any problem with anything, you make a motion, you want me to move off the case, it's fine. He did that. This is just regular rigmarole they do in court. Prosecutor gets up. She goes, yeah, we don't have no say-so about that, but I do let you know that a member of the prosecution's office is related to the victim's father. So they choose not to be around this case at all. Now, if I'm the defense lawyer, that scares me because they might not be around the case, but for the fact they work in that office, there might be some type of grudge that goes on. Now, ethnically, that's not correct. You shouldn't have to worry about that. But we're going to keep it real. We are people. We have feelings and emotions. That would worry me. Then for the fact that she got up there and laughed still after she realized that they were going to trial. And I'm saying it right, there is no jury on this earth who is not going to convict her on multiple charges. Terrorism, murder, attempted murder, assault. And it was a heinous crime. She has no remorse at all. None. That's the thing that gets me the most, is the fact that you don't have any remorse. You're not showing any. If you did, you're not showing it. You're in court laughing about this like the whole situation's funny. And your demeanor is not a demeanor of a person who has remorse. Y'all, the father got up and spoke about how she has destroyed their whole life. And then I'm going to put in another perspective nobody's really talking about. As a black man, this makes us look bad because it was a black female that did this to a white lady and her kid. So what do you think? How do you think? Or what do you think is going through the father's mind, the mother's mind, when they see somebody that looks like her coming near them? Even if it's just to say hi. These type of situations really put in perspective why we have so many different things going on racially that affects us in America. We have people that are disrespectful to other people, the way they talk, the way they look at you. Heck, even on social media, where they comment. Right now I'm on Facebook and YouTube, and I have a bunch of trolls in my YouTube box right now, being very disrespectful. But the way society has set us up, that's normal. For this family, life will never, ever be normal again. They've lost a 3-year-old son, and they're dealing with a defendant who thinks this whole situation is funny. You know how much effort it takes to hold back any anger because they're going through so much pain? Do you understand the gamut of emotions they're going through? Pain, anger, upsetness. But then they have love and compassion for each other and this child they don't have any longer. And all this is made worse by her actions in the courtroom. Like she's not taking anything serious. She has no courtroom decorum at all whatsoever. To laugh at this and think it's funny after you unalive a 3-year-old and it almost killed the mother. This just proves, you guys, that life has a lot of points in it. That is no laughing matter. Well, guys, I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. It's good. It's just a short podcast, because right now my internet service ain't the best this time. They got an outage in my area, so if there's some things you didn't catch, I will upload this video for you. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. I appreciate all the love and respect I get from you guys. Thank you so much. The YouTube account is going up. I picked up 20 new people since I picked up 20 new people within the last 8 podcasts. So I want to thank you for that. All you that follow me on Facebook, I love you guys. I love every last one of my fans and my followers. You guys know there's a lot of things I got going on now. The wrestling thing, I'm getting back into that tonight. The podcast, my son's music, I'm going to help him with that. My other son's doing Twitch for games. And I have my book coming out, The Man in the Broken Glass. That'll be on Amazon soon. And the LLC is getting ready to pop off too. You guys, it's been amazing. I have an amazing time. I want to send shouts out to Action Pack Sports and Jonathan Holt, my coach. He has a big event coming up pretty soon at Rogers. I'll be promoting that, so you guys get a chance to know where to go see Action Jackson. Get his thing on him and Big Mike Anthony, the Genetic Nightmare, the OMGs. That's right. I'll let you know of that. Also, I'm going to keep you informed, man, on what's going on with me as far as my next podcast. I have a big one coming up pretty soon next week. It's going to be about autism, about some learning things. I got a couple of parents going to be on. It's going to be awesome. Awesome, you guys. I want y'all to stay tuned for what I got going on. I got big things popping, amazing things dropping, and ain't no stopping. I just want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. And as I always tell you, y'all, I never spill tea, but I do take the last sip. Peace.
I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. I'll say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best.
Glass House Mix.